Welcome everyone to Sports Opinions with Regular Guys. I'm Frank, this is Mike. We have a special guest here for this week's episode. Anthony, he's been on our first season earlier this year. He's been on a couple of episodes. So he should look familiar. He doesn't have all the long hair no more. But this week we're going to obviously talk about a lot of the NFL news. There's been a lot of trades, at least with the Bears. And we're going to talk about the Bears' loss to the Cowboys as well as some other games around the NFL. We're also going to get into some Bulls talk. A good full week, almost 2 weeks now since the season started. The Bulls actually won tonight, so they're back at 500 at 4-4. We'll get into a little bit of that and a little bit of the NBA. But first and foremost, we're going to talk about the Chicago Bears and the 29-49 loss to the Dallas Cowboys. I have a lot to say about this, but I'm going to yield the mic to Mike, so he can get started with what he thinks about what he thought, what he saw, or thoughts on some of these games. So right. Go right ahead, it's yours.
All right. So, Sunday, we played the Dallas Cowboys. Now I expected a loss because it is the Cowboys. Dak is back. You saw what they were already doing without Dak. You see the defense is good. Now, even though Michael Irvin sits back and calls it finger-licking good defense, we managed to put 29 good points on them. And a lot of it was Justin Fields. And you guys all know how I felt about him last year, even at the beginning of this year. But I will say that Justin Fields is growing on me. I see a lot of Lamar Jackson in him. Now he's starting to recognize that the offensive line is breaking down. Instead of just standing there and getting hit, and getting sacked, he's actually running. And you know what? No one can grab him. I mean, he's running, no one's catching him, and he's sliding, which I'm happy that he's a quarterback that actually learned that, so he's not getting rocked.
The kid's a tank.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. I mean, he showed me a lot of heart when he got beat up that Washington Commanders game, and he was doing push-ups after getting hit. Man, so he showed me a lot of heart, and I like that. Now the Cowboys are a Super Bowl caliber team. That's my opinion. My opinion. I already knew what you guys gonna say, but look, that 6-2 record says
they have to survive the Eagles.
That 6-2 record says volume.
What's the Eagles record? They're
lost. Unbeaten.
Oh yes,
unbeaten.
Ooh.
Now.
Fly, Eagle, fly.
Fields had 151 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He got sacked 4 times. I mean, that was a great performance, in my opinion, but from him, I just want to see some more yards, some more production, because I think about 250 yards should be where we're at. Montgomery showed up. Herbert showed up for real. So they look good. And don't worry, I'm gonna yield it back to you. You're gonna get two, 3 good minutes.
Please take your time. Take your time. I want you to talk. Go ahead and take your time. Keep on.
There were a lot of good things that I saw in that game. The Bears showed a lot of heart. They could have just given up, but they did good. Moody's showing that he is the best option so far until Claypool gets on the roster. Then we're gonna see some different things happen there. Montgomery didn't do much of anything. That was just an off game for him. I expect more. But overall, I did expect a loss, and it happened, and we're going to have to move on. When we talk about the trades, I'll get into that, but I want to let Frank and Anthony go on ahead and give me their take on this.
Well, Anthony, you want to go first? Go ahead. What you have any thoughts on the game?
No, go ahead, Frank. I want to hear what you think. This may be interesting.
Well, I mean, I'm just going to comment on the game. Basically, they lost, and I expected the loss. I was very impressed. The loss I can really care about. I wanted to see how the offense plays. We know the defense is going to be horrible because they gave away their players. Rightfully so, they traded for draft picks for the future. So I expect them to lose the game. I expect them to give up a lot of points. Now, for Mr. Michael Irvin, that guy's a clown. Really, you listen to anything he says. He's nothing but a clown.
Wow.
I can say a couple of other words about him, but he's nothing but a.
He's a diehard Cowboy.
Hold on,
fan.
he's a clown. No one listens to anything he says because really his opinion means really. I don't pay attention to anything he says.
A Hall of Famer talks. And
he's a Hall of Famer. All he does is talk about the Cowboys. He just cares about the Cowboys.
He's on first take.
To
I
me,
mean, he must be listening to
because he's Michael Irvin knows. I don't know anyone who listens to him.
I listen to him.
I think he's a clown. But anyway,
you're not in
Dallas.
neither.
Dallas.
You're not
First
even
of all,
a Cowboys fan. It's America's team. Come on, man. I bet you people want to hear about the America's team. We might not be Cowboy fans, but we know what they like. To be honest.
Okay. Anyway, so he praising his Cowboys. Fine, they're 6-2, but to me, they're not an impressive 6-2.
What?
Their great defense that they praise so much about. The Bears put 29 points on their ass and probably could have put more. They probably could have put at least 32, 34, 35 points on their asses. You know, their defense was not that impressive against the Bears. They had no answer for Justin Fields whatsoever. None. Justin Fields, what did he rush for 60 yards? You know, and rushed for another touchdown. You know, and then he threw for, 150-something yards and 3 touchdown passes? 2 touchdown passes. 151 yards, 2 touchdown passes. He ran for another 60 yards and a touchdown. 3 touchdown passes, and that's over 200 yards in the air. That, I'm sorry, Dallas, your defense wasn't so defensive because you gave up easily. Should have given up at least 31 points.
I don't think Dallas. I think they got some good players, but
they're not to me, they're a phony.
They haven't beat nobody.
They're a phony facade, smoke and mirrors, 6-2 team.
Professional football teams. They have beaten 6 professional football teams in the NFL, and we're saying that
6 teams that
somehow,
are trash. That are trash.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Come on, trash.
Unbelievable.
Come on, they beat they started off the Bengals. Joe Burrow was hurt the first week, so
they beat.
Wow.
Bengals down. That was a Super Bowl contending team. Down next.
The Giants.
Another team that's hot this year.
Who can only run? You got to run the ball. That's what the Giants does.
And what's their record? I think they got 6 wins too, right?
They beat the Commanders.
They beat Green Bay.
They beat the Rams, but the Rams ain't doing nothing
Super Bowl
right now.
champions.
Oh wow!
Right?
They lost to the Eagles. Oh
as expected.
exactly.
As expected.
Then how can you? And then they beat the Lions.
The Lions are trying to win every week.
Lions are 1-6 though. So
anyway, back to the Chicago Bears and not the shitty Cowboys. Ooh. I can care a crap about them at this point.
Well, they beat us 49.
Good for them.
How are they shitty?
Yeah, we're talking about football.
To me, they're shitty because when it comes down to the end of the season, they're going to be a wild card team. They're going to lose in the first round. We all know this. That's what's going to happen. So we're talking about another overrated team. And they've always been overrated. They're not winning anything. That's a smoke and mirrors record. 6-2. Wow. And like you said, Anthony, they haven't beat anybody. Let's see what they do when they play the Eagles. Oh, when they played them, they lost.
Right. They don't play nobody the whole season.
They're benefiting on a crappy schedule. So anyway, the Bears offensively had a great game. They put 17 points in that second quarter, 6 in the third, 6 in the fourth. Really would have been 7 if they kicked the extra point. I like the coaching style that they have on the offense. I like the aggressiveness. I love them running the ball. They ran for another 240 yards this weekend. This is like the 3rd or 4th game this season. They ran for over 200 yards. They're leading the league in rushing. So they got some good tools right there with the 3-headed monster of Montgomery, Herbert, and Fields. They're going to definitely put up 200 yards a game. So there are some really good positive signs. The loss is, to me, this whole season is preseason. So this is just for development of what they're going to be down the road. So they had a very impressive offensive game. Defense, well, what do you expect? I mean, Dallas scored 2 touchdowns in the first, second, and third quarter. I think they scored a garbage touchdown in the fourth. So, but I will say this about Montgomery. He fucked up. I'm sorry language, but he messed up. He fumbled that ball when they could have probably scored a touchdown on that one and got that in the game.
Right.
That fumble ended up turning into a touchdown because that was a fumble for for 6 on the other
Right,
end.
they put
7
up
on the other
49
end.
points. That game was over.
Yeah, but they would not have put up 49 points. They probably could have put up. They would have put up. Take away that Montgomery fumble, and then that possession where he fumbled the ball. They were in their territory, and they probably could have scored because they were scoring at will against the Cowboys anyway. They probably would have scored a touchdown, and that game would have been much closer than a 20-point loss. They probably could have maybe lost by maybe 7, maybe 8. It would have been a lot closer game, but that was a mess up. But you're right. They would have lost that game anyway because the defense couldn't stop. They couldn't stop. I mean, shit. They couldn't stop a turtle.
You think Roquan Smith was not playing as hard because he knew he was getting traded?
I think so. I think he just gave up. He didn't want to play. Really, he hasn't been playing the last couple of games. So I mean,
he got ran over by Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
So
you get ran over by a quarterback.
Yeah,
You're a linebacker,
yeah.
bro.
So when it comes to that, I mean.
Bro.
I'm not so upset about it. I actually enjoyed the game from an offensive standpoint because, again, I want to see the offense gel. I want to see Justin Fields gel. And he gets better every week. He's starting not to hold onto that ball so long.
Right.
So that's what I think about that. As far as the defense goes, they're shitty, but they gave away their players. So what do you expect? So they're going to be a bad defensive team the rest of the season. But that's fine. It's going to benefit them, especially with the moves they made this week. They're going to have a very good offseason, I believe. Anyway.
Let's hear what Anthony has to say.
Well, it's funny you may ask, you know what I mean? Well, I mean, my expectation for the whole year wasn't very high anyway. So I kind of already knew we was going to have a bad season. It was a tank year. I mean, they don't want to say it, but it's a tank year. You can tell by them giving away, just their key defensive players. I was mad when they got rid of Matt. But then, when you kind of see everybody getting hurt in the older squad, you kind of realize, like, okay, I'm okay with all these moves and these trades. And the way they coaching this team, man, they playing hard, bro. They playing for contracts, so it's going to make a difference. So I'm okay.
You can definitely tell the difference this year in the coaching.
Yeah,
sure.
Coaching
is much better.
Coaching is a lot better. That's where it starts, though. You got to get the right coaching, and then you got to get the right scouts. So, I mean, I think they make the right moves because for the last 20 years, 30 years, or the whole entire Bears just foundation has always been about defense
and running the ball.
Right? But it's time to.
It's always been that way.
It's time to make an explosive offense with an explosive quarterback. But you still, man, you got to protect this man no matter what. So, I mean, getting rid of a lot of your players, I think is a good thing. But now you're setting them up to just fail right now. I mean, they'll get better with your wide receivers, but they're going to score, and then you're going to try to outscore another team that you don't have anybody on defense to stop them. So it's a tank year. Hopefully they don't, hopefully, because I know Justin, he's going to play hard as he wants to every game, you know what I mean? But it's going to end up probably getting him hurt, man, because he ain't got nobody to block for him. He just now got a new wide receiver. So now the wide receiver has to learn the playbook, you know what I mean, and learn his position. He's going to have to do film, everything. He has to do a whole 360. Learning playbooks, you just don't learn it just overnight.
Right.
That takes a long time for a wide receiver to know where he's at. You know what I mean? You can easily tell him what route to run, but it's still got to be some type of chemistry there. They're not going to have any chemistry. Now, It might open up the field a little bit because we do got 2 running backs and 2 wide receivers.
It's not about all of that. It's about just his development. Most of these players are not going to be around next season.
You want him to read defenses. So, I mean, this game was obviously a bust. I mean, we already knew it was going to happen. See, us being Bears fans and they're playing really hard this year, we're predicting that they're going to win every year. But it's not going to happen. Bears fans, don't get your hopes up because this year, it's a throwaway year.
You read all these comments of these Bears fans getting all upset. What are you getting upset for? What did you expect them to do this season?
Calm down. Just breathe, relax, enjoy the Bears.
I don't.
Be okay.
I just don't understand.
I'm getting cut. I'm getting cut, y'all. You see that? I'm getting cut.
Excuse me.
I can't finish my take now.
Excuse me.
Don't let me be Frank, because Frank have a heart attack.
No. So I can't see us coming into this season and expect me as a Bears fan to want to see these guys lose every single week. I can't take that in. I can't take in that this is a tanking season,
Mike.
because everyone is out here playing their hearts out.
It's
You
a
got
business.
Justin Fields out there, which is the future of this
They're
team.
not playing for free.
Taking hard hits just to prove himself.
He's not taking hard hits for free, people. Just remember that.
For a losing effort, because you're surrounding him with rubbish.
Well, you got to start on offense. You got to start a different way.
You're not protecting him. He has no one to throw to but Darnell Mooney, which every now and then does a spectacular catch.
Yeah.
But honestly,
They doubling them in like coverage.
Darnell Mooney goes to any other team, he's a second or a third.
Yeah.
You know.
Probably not even, because look at Allen Robinson. What happened to him?
Yeah, fell off.
We don't even know what
Fell
happened.
off.
He should never even
Fell
left.
off.
That was him.
So here's my thing, and I'm gonna give it right back to you again. We're saying that this is a tanking season. We get rid of Roquan Smith, which was the best.
Somebody
tackler,
that's not going to
the
sign
best
with you next
tackler
year, though.
in the league. He's young.
He wasn't
He
signing
knows
back.
the game. He's now experienced in the game. We trade him away for a second-round pick. A second-round pick.
That's
The
actually
best-
option.
the best tackler in the league.
But that's actually
for the
not.
past 3
But that's
years.
not bad because you know why? Who'd he go to? Who they traded him to?
The Ravens.
And guess what?
You just made them
Guess
better.
what?
He's
Yeah,
on
guess
his
what?
contract
Yes,
year.
yes. That's a rental for the
contract,
Ravens.
yeah.
That's a rental.
It's a rental.
Here's what you gotta understand, Mike.
You just gave a
They
second-round pick
got
for
a
a rental.
second round pick for a rental, so they did a good job. If you can
Slide
get
that
something
back
for
over
if you
here.
get something for future, for some player that's not going to sign with you next year, you get rid of him.
Look, Roquan wasn't going to sign back. Because, for one, look in the offseason, they had difficult. They offered him a lot of money, and he did not take it. He wanted guaranteed money. You can't, no offense, I would love all my football players to get guaranteed money, but they're not getting guaranteed money. You know why? Because they're injury prone, bro. We, as humans, we get hurt. It's just going to happen. You can get hurt getting out of bed.
But Deshaun's contract set that precedent, though.
Yeah, but
Deshaun
everybody's
got
not
it.
going to do that. Hey, listen, man. There's going to be a lot of... You got a defensive-minded head coach. He's going to find somebody else to play hard for him at linebacker.
And they got all these draft picks and all the money on the offseason.
So guess
he
what?
is replaceable.
You're paying that head coach to make something out of nothing out of your defense so your offense can be stronger. You got to even it out. We got to do something different. We picked somebody from the Kansas City Chiefs that was an offensive lineman that thinks he knows he can do better offensively. So if he thinks he can do it, then let the man do it. Because every other man did not do it. They went defensively, and look what happened. Our defense was good, but where did we end up? Double doink? We want that again? Because I remember last time, I'd rather put up some more points and score.
Yeah, right.
Other than had to kick a field goal to win.
Right.
So, I mean, if you're going to find me a Lamar Jackson and then build me a good offense, an explosive offense, where we can cheer and be happy to watch a game instead of be like, why are they on prime time right now? Because these people do not score. Football is not fun when you don't score. I love defensive games, but let it be a good offensive, defensive game. You know what I mean? Let it be even. So, I think they're doing better for the future. That's what they're telling all of us. Look, calm down. The future coming. These games are going to be slow and hard. It's going to be a tough year. They warned us. With all these one-year contracts and off these second-year people that was in rotation coming off the bench. Look, it's going to be a rough year.
Yep.
But guess what? We're going to be better. We're going to do better. So you got to give them a chance, man. It's a business. It's a business, and not only that, you got to restructure a whole team, bro. You had to gut it out. That's like gutting out a building that you want to sell in condos. You got to re-gut it out from the beginning.
They're doing what the Cubs did.
And trust
Rip
me,
everything apart, tear it all down, and build it up from the bottom up.
Die-hard Bear fans, I hear you guys, man.
That's what they do.
We hear you. We hate losing. I hate losing. I hate having one of the worst teams in the NFL. Trust me. I hate having that feeling. It's a horrible feeling.
We could easily
horrible.
We could easily have 5 wins this year.
Horrible.
We could easily have 5
It's a horrible
wins this
feeling.
year.
But guess what, man? If they're gonna start heading in the right direction, you know what I mean? Something has to change. We got to do something different.
Take the hits now.
We
they'll
can't
be better
continue to
next
build
year.
off defense and put all our money on defense and then not have that good offensive lineman we could have signed for a little bit more money because you know what? It's at least 20 or 30 other teams that's trying to sign this offensive lineman right now. Because the
True.
offensive lineman is
They
hard to get.
gotta modernize the offense.
So
Okay.
give them a chance. All right, man.
So, with that being said, the Bears are playing the Dolphins at home next week.
You might as well go ahead and just
That's
take
a
that
L.
butt whooping. Yeah,
That's a L.
take that L right now and just.
And
You might as well do something that day. Don't even watch the game.
the Dolphins are 3-5. Well, you know,
And they just signed
Well, Tua was out for those losses.
yeah, but they just signed Nick Chubb. Not Chubb, the linebacker.
I know you, the other Chubb.
Yeah, the other Chubb, and he's a beast. Oh yeah, the Dolphins are getting better. Be careful.
we'll see.
Watch out.
We'll see what happens. They probably will. lose
Hey,
the game.
Dolphins, the Bills, the
Well,
Eagles.
they got the Bills.
Man.
They got the Super Bowl matchup that I predicted. They play both of those teams this year. Those will be both losses.
Bradley Chubb.
Now, I want to get into a couple of other games that took place this weekend. I gotta comment on some of them, and I want your opinions on it.
Okay.
I'm gonna start with the Packers and the Bills. You know who did not do any moves during the trade deadline and made no moves at all?
The Green Bay Packers.
The Green Bay Packers,
Which I'm
because Aaron
surprised.
Rodgers is so confident that his receivers are the best in the league. And so he's supposed to be putting up,
Did he
having
say that?
2,500 yards, supposed to have over 25 touchdowns at this point,
He has made a lot of wide receivers.
And they lost 4 straight.
Who's
And they
Donald Driver before Aaron Rodgers? I don't remember.
Didn't Brett Favre make Donald Driver famous?
Oh, he did.
He did.
So
Yeah.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers just picked up the baggage.
Okay.
So anyway, he didn't do so well this past weekend. He lost 27-17 against the Buffalo Bills.
It's not him though. You
Well,
can't put it on
some of it
Aaron
is
Rodgers.
him.
Can't put it
I
on
mean, some of it is him. He's taking a lot. He's taking sacks. He's throwing interceptions. He threw another one. This
doesn't
weekend.
have an offensive line. He doesn't
Oh
have
well,
wide
but
receivers.
that's Aaron Rodgers.
I'm not. Hey, listen, I'm not on his side, but Buffalo's a nasty.
He gets
team.
no sympathy from me, and I'm glad his team is losing.
Hey, that linebacker group in Buffalo, them bugs are some ball hawks, bro. Like,
So they lost 27-17. They were embarrassed. Let's just be honest. They were embarrassed.
yeah. Well, when you stop their one dimension, if you stop
and,
their run game, you got Green Bay.
Not really, because Green Bay had a really good running game. They ran for 208
Yeah,
yards.
Jones rushed for
So-
140.
But imagine if you stop that. That's
Their
you have one
receivers are horrible. I think
Yeah.
Dobbs scored that one touchdown, but
They got to get open.
They don't have any good receivers.
Being
Was
a
that
right
that one-
receiver, you got to create space. They
What was
don't
that
create
one?
space.
Because they're not talented like that.
Yeah.
You don't have, like you said, that Donald Driver walk through that door. You don't have Devontae Adams no more.
Right.
He's gone. And the other one, I keep forgetting his name. He's in Kansas City.
I'm talking about Valdez
Yeah,
Scantling.
that was one of Aaron Rodgers' weapons. You lost both of those guys who were your top receivers, and you had Cobb who's hurting.
They blew it with that.
You know.
They blew it with that.
And then they wanted to praise their defense so much. Their defense is shit. And I've been saying that for the last how many weeks. Their defense is shit. They keep, every time you see these douchebag ESPN analysts and these NFL Network idiots who always want to praise, Green Bay's defense is so good. They got all these draft picks and they got all of these players and their defense is going to be very, very, very good. Their defense is shitty. Their defense is just as bad as the Bears' defense. And actually, the Bears' offense seems to be better than the Green Bay's offense this last month. So, I mean, I wish they'd play them right now. The Bears would probably beat them. So, I'm glad.
I don't know about that.
I'm glad.
Smack.
I'm glad they're
Hold on,
losing.
bro, we don't even got a defense. So you think we probably
Well,
can't even
we don't have a
Green Bay.
defense, but they sure don't have one either. So, I mean,
And we
guess
say-
what? And guess what? Oh, what's the record? Oh, we're 3-5. What are the Bears?
All right, I'm
The
not-
Bears are
hey.
3-5 too.
I'm not a Green Bay fan.
Who would have
so
thought
okay.
this?
They
You
can lose
think
every
the-
game, and
You
I'd
think
be
the
okay.
Packers would be 5-3 maybe, and the Bears be 3-5, but they're tied for the same record.
Hey, what's the chances of them drafting another quarterback?
Very slim.
No,
Very slim.
I don't see. I can see that happening.
Very
actually,
slim.
no, I can see that happening.
A successful quarterback. Let me clarify that.
They could.
will draft another quarterback.
But Aaron Rodgers is doing his best not to
We've
let that
seen
happen.
Jordan Love, and Jordan Love is not it.
No, they'll probably let him go.
So
at
they're
the
gonna
end of
look
the
for
year.
someone else. They're gonna get someone
Depends
else.
on how bad their season
Watch,
is.
they're gonna have to give up one of the
Watch
running
him.
backs for a first round draft. pick or
Watch
something.
him get Mac Jones. Watch him get Mac Jones because Bill Belichick don't want him. He's gonna go. He's gonna be one of the
Green Bay's gonna have to give up stuff to get him, and the bottom line is they need draft picks to get better receivers. They don't have good receivers. Aaron Rodgers, as you can see, he don't have those same receivers.
Nope.
Those receivers that he built up, even on his first year with a lot of these older receivers he had the last 10 years or so. They all came in from the draft or whatever, and they gelled right away with Aaron Rodgers. This crappy receiver core he has now ain't doing it. And it ain't going to do it. So does that tell you about Aaron Rodgers? Obviously, he's not that talented to make
You're
receivers
not
look
watching
good.
the game, man.
Okay.
I've watched the games, and he's making the same passes he used to make
No.
before.
And they not catching the ball.
Right.
Yeah,
They're
they not
slipping
creating
out their
space.
hands, bouncing off their
Yeah,
faces,
they're not creating
bouncing
space.
off their uniforms,
Yeah.
and all you see is Aaron upset. He's
Put-
upset.
Put Aaron Rodgers where
Put him in Kansas
Josh
City.
Allen.
Right.
Put him with Josh Allen right now. I'll put money on it.
Let him toss a Stephon
Well-
Diggs, and I bet you Diggs will hold on to that ball.
Josh Allen, speaking of Josh Allen, he had a kind of subpar mediocre game, actually.
Really?
But you
Yeah.
can't stop his running.
Yes.
He gonna run you over.
Yeah, he will. He run you over. He ran for 49 yards. But he threw for 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. He threw 2 shitty interceptions.
Okay.
That's very unusual for him. He only threw for 218 yards. Now, I say only 218 because this man usually throws for over 300 and something yards and usually puts up about 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. So he didn't have, I would say, a very good offensive game. You know, but they still ran for 153 yards.
Oh, it's gonna get worse when it get cold in Buffalo. Cause you remember everything got to go back to Buffalo. Most
Oh,
likely.
yeah.
Yep.
It's gonna get worse because he does decline, and when it gets cold, it's cold.
He should be used to that by
It's-
now. If he's going to be successful, you got to play
nobody
out
can
there.
get used to Buffalo cold.
Buffalo
Buffalo's a different cold. Bro.
That's about the same cold as Green Bay.
No, it's not.
It is. It's about the same shit.
Look
They
that
got
up.
the
people.
same weather.
Hey,
The coldest game in NFL history, by the way, was in Green Bay.
My people, look that up.
Not in
It's
Buffalo.
Buffalo is horrible, bro.
The coldest game in NFL history was in Green Bay. The Ice Bowl.
Wow.
Okay, so
Wow.
and they're both cold stadiums. So they both, to me,
I love
they're equal.
I love
They're equal. They get the
I
same
wanna-
amount of weather.
I
They get the
wanna
same
see-
amount of cold.
I want to see where you pulled that up at.
The 1967 Ice Bowl.
Yeah, you pulled that up out your
No,
ass.
it was the Cowboys versus the Packers. They showed it all the time on TV. I know you know about that.
Yeah, that couldn't
That
be
was the coldest game.
in history,
That was the
though.
coldest game in NFL history.
It is.
I'm not. Hey,
remember the
when you have time, look it up.
Ooh,
Let's
I
do it
believe
again.
it. No, I just like
That shit was.
I
You know, they show pictures of
kid,
that. Shit
Frank,
is
I
cold.
kid.
But I actually, for one, am happy. The Bears lost.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, that's actually a win for the Bears because it helps them in the drafting, and that's gonna help them in the long run. This season is over, but Green Bay, them losing is not good because they're predicted to be, they predict them to be there at the end in the NFC.
Not gonna happen.
They're not even gonna make the playoffs. I'm glad they're losing. I keep
Who's
saying
gonna
it.
make? Who gonna make the NFC?
Well, you're gonna have all of the NFC East teams probably take all the wild card slots. You're gonna have the Eagles have the best record, and then you're gonna have the other 3 divisions like the Vikings, and I don't know who's gonna come out the South, and I don't know who's coming out the West. So, but it looks like all the divisions are all mediocre except for basically the East.
That's what I'm saying. We're not. That's why I don't understand this whole rebuilding thing for us. As you look at the standings around the league, man, over half the teams in the league are 3
They're
and
bad.
4, 2 and 5.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're in that bad of a position that we're already
No,
saying
but
the
the
season's
Bears-
over.
But they're where they're
The
supposed to be,
Vikings
though.
are 6 and 1.
The Bears are where they're supposed
Okay,
to be, though.
the
Mike.
Packers are 3 and 5 with us.
They're not supposed to be.
And the Lions are 1 and 6.
They're expected to be 1 and 6. The Bears are expected to be.
What
3
are
and
Jags
5.
doing right now?
You know.
Jaguars.
Green Bay is not.
I think they have like 3 wins.
Yeah.
Green Bay is not was not expected to be no 3 and 5 8 weeks into the season.
Yeah, we still got a long season to
Yeah.
go. No,
Exactly. So that's why I don't like the
The
whole-
It's
NFC
crazy. This season going by so quick, though, man. Football season
Yeah.
go too quick.
The
for me,
NFC,
Yeah, Jaguars are 2 and 6.
the NFC East is running away with all of the wild card spots and the best record in the league. The Eagles are still freaking undefeated. I mean, you got the Eagles that are 7-0, Dallas 6-2, Giants 6-2, Washington is even 4-4. They're even 500.
But they beat us. Shoot.
So-
They beat Green Bay.
I mean, that's the division this year on a mediocre season. Because you're right, more than half the teams are garbage. So the NFC East is,
South.
The NFC East is running
NFC
it
South.
on a
The
mediocre
Falcons
league.
are in first place in the NFC South.
Yeah.
The Falcons.
Yeah.
The Bucks are in second place. I mean, I don't know.
The
I don't
AFC
see
is
how we're that
the
bad of a
AFC
team
is a little bit better
when I'm looking around
than
the
the
league.
NFC as far as record wise goes.
I still felt like we still had time to win. We still had time to string together a good season. I mean, make some moves this year. Keep Roquan.
But you're not winning the Super Bowl. You just
Make
get
it into
close.
the playoffs. See how far you can go. Gauge your
I mean, but you got killed by Green Bay, right?
Just give Justin Fields a little experience in the playoffs.
He'll
get it. He'll get there.
Bro, it's his second year.
Let me
It's
hear
his
this.
second year in the league. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I put it. Go ahead. Say what you were saying.
What was the topic? First of all,
We're talking about Justin Fields. Talking about the Bears.
oh, you talk about the tanking and bro. I mean, it's a
Yes.
rebuilding process, man. It takes time. It's just not gonna happen with one season like the Chicago Bulls. This is not gonna happen like
Could
that.
we easily have 5 wins this year right now?
We could. I mean, we didn't, man, some bonehead mistakes, of
Right.
course. I mean, because they playing hard, but I mean,
We could
obviously,
we could be 5-3 right now.
you get second round talent and backup talents. I mean, they're gonna make mistakes like that. It's gonna happen.
This is my
They're
problem.
trying to star out and they're not stars, bro. Get out of bounds. The guy against the Minnesota game, I don't even remember his name. I don't even think he's on the
Something
team
Smith.
anymore.
The
But
guy- yeah.
bro, get out of bounds.
Pack your bag.
Get out of bounds.
Marset Smith. I
Come
think
on,
his
then you
name
fumble,
was.
and then you got
Is he on the
one.
roster still?
You fumble the ball, like it's a lot of different things that the Bears do that you can tell that some of them are backup. They make like bonehead mistakes.
Well, the team that's not making bonehead mistakes again is the Buffalo Bills. They are 6-1.
Okay, is that your favorite team this year?
It's not my favorite team this year, but
Yes,
I do got them.
Because we still talking about the Green Bay and the Bills. I mean,
Yeah, but we already talked about the
that's
Bears.
a long session.
Yeah, that when we talked about it for like 2 minutes.
It's like 20 other teams.
Yeah, well,
You know, like no other team.
no, I'll talk about the Bills. The Bills, I got them going to the Super Bowl. But you're right, because I wanted to move on. The next game I wanted to talk about was another one. Not gonna get into all these games, but this one I want to talk about a little bit. Not necessarily the game, but the loss. The Buccaneers lost again, Mike.
Yeah.
Tom Brady seems to be in the same situation as Aaron Rodgers. He's a mediocre 3-5 team, and he has a lot of problems with his divorce and stuff with Giselle. And his team ain't winning. I guess they're not. What'd you say? What was his mantra?
Doing their job.
I guess they're not doing their job, and you know what? He's not doing his job, I guess, either, huh?
So I don't know. So for a man that's not doing his job, he threw for 325 yards, passed for a touchdown.
Just one?
That's what
That's
his
it?
receivers are allowing him to do right
Just
now.
one?
He's in the same predicament where he does not have the star receivers that he needs to have at his disposal. All he has is Mike Evans and Godwin, and they double team either Evans or Godwin. The other guys are dropping balls all over the place. I watched those games too, and it's not the same thing. If he had some talent around him, they catch some balls, this would be a different story. They're dropping balls left and right. I'm watching the games. He's having the same problem that Aaron Rodgers is having.
I wouldn't say necessarily
And
you're
two-
right. Go
Two,
ahead.
if your family, you knew he's not playing with a clear mind right now either. He's got his wife that's on his ass trying to get a divorce. He's going to be separated from his kids. His wife's going to be taking his kids. He's going to have to be going back and forth. All this for the love of the game. He has a lot on his mind. I'm sure he has appointments, lawyer appointments, a lot of shit on his mind, and he's still coming out and putting out these numbers, and the rest of the squad around him they're just not doing their job.
Well, I'm not going to sit there and say it's all Tom Brady's fault, because you're right. He threw for 325 yards, but one touchdown is mediocre to me in his caliber. But that wasn't what lost him the game. What lost him the game, 44 rushing yards as a team. Fournette only had 24 yards. Wow. And then the rest was mixed up with two other running backs, White with 19 and Brady ran for 1 yard. 44 yards. They got a touchdown out of it, but 44 yards. That's not going to cut it. Especially when you have Lamar Jackson throwing for 238 yards, and he rushed for 43 yards. But they gave up 231
Lamar
rushing
Jackson
yards.
is gonna make it on his own regardless, and he trying to get paid. So Lamar Jackson ain't playing with you.
No, so Brady, he's another one. I really do think this is his last year, and I really think he's just. I don't know. I'm not saying he's tanking, but he knows he doesn't have a good team. If they sneak into the playoffs with this crappy division that they're in, he still could win the division. He has a better chance of making the playoffs than Aaron Rodgers does because that division is awful. Awful. Period. And that's the only way you're going to get into playoffs is being on a shitty-ass division that's all the teams are under 500 or at 500. You'll sneak into the playoffs in the first round and get destroyed. So that's what I see happening here. He may make the playoffs, but I think Tampa Bay is going to be an under 500 team. They'll probably go 8-9 or something like that, and make the playoffs by winning the division, and get destroyed in the first round by Philadelphia or somebody. No, I won't say Philadelphia. Get somebody, and then they'll beat them. So now the Ravens, on the other hand, they had got Roquan Smith this week, right? And that's going to help them out down the road.
We just made them better.
Well, that's fine. Look, I don't have a problem with that trade. But you're right. It made them better. It's going to make the Bears better too because
Trade
they
him to an
draft
AFC team.
And you know what? And the good thing about it's right. The good thing about it
They ain't
is
trade him to
we don't
Green Bay.
got to see him.
Watch, Green Bay gonna sign him for the max contract next year. They always do that. They always sign our best defense. Like Julius Peppers, he was killing us when he went to the Green Bay Packers.
Not really. He wasn't really doing anything when he was playing there against us, particularly. They had other players who were killing us. It wasn't him. He wasn't doing much. He was pretty much over the hill at that point.
I saw Peppers doing his thing.
I did
Because we kept pointing out, like,
I didn't see
why weren't you doing that?
Maybe
here?
in some other games, but he wasn't doing that here. I mean, here he wasn't doing it against us. I remember those games.
Sam Acho, he went to Green Bay, killing us. Defense. All the time, man.
Well, again, their time is running out, and Tampa Bay's time is running out too. So what are they going to do when Tom Brady's gone? They're going to be another New England game.
Tom Brady will be back next year. He will be back next year.
To do what?
He's already going to get the divorce. The divorce is done. He doesn't have Giselle on him anymore trying to get him to leave. He's still performing. The man is throwing for 325 yards at 47 years old. What else do you want?
Father Time
What else do
catches
you
up.
want?
He's only one hit
we
away.
have a quarterback that can't throw for 150 yards per game. And we have a 47-year-old man throwing for 325 yards, and we're not giving him the credit. And we're not giving him the credit that he deserves. Give the man his credit.
Yeah, good. You won a lot of championships.
Credit.
Do yourself a favor. Do your body a favor. You've done it all. You played 20 years. Why are you still playing? Go home, relax, be an analyst, take care of your kids, man.
He can
grow up
still
your
play.
kids.
I'll take him here.
Why are you still playing? That's what bothers me. Why are you still playing?
I'll sit Justin Fields down for
retire
right now.
That
Go away already.
Somebody is tired of losing to Tom Brady. That's what that sounds like.
Yeah.
Or tired of watching Tom Brady win. Exactly.
Okay, so then I don't want to hear anything when he takes a good hit and he's forced to retire like Brett Favre when what's his name, had hit him and ended his career.
Corey Wooten.
Corey Wooten ended Brett Favre's career.
Corey Wooten.
The only reason that man's name is still alive is because you guys keep spraying that man's name around.
That was great. That was definitely great.
I keep forgetting.
I just remember the man's
about that man's existence, and you keep bringing it back. Like
he ain't even on TV no more.
He should not have even been on the field to play. And he was out there playing at the last second, and the Bears ended his career. Which was great.
He went to Northwest.
Anyway,
he's selling cars right now.
No, the man went to Northwest. I'm pretty sure.
Anyway, are there any other games you guys want to talk about? Those are really the games I really wanted to get into. Is there any other games that you want to talk about this past weekend before we move on to the Bulls or to this week's games? We want to talk about the trading, of course.
Yeah, we do want to.
So there were some trades that were made. Definitely the Bears are in the trading market this week, in the last couple of weeks. Last week, they traded Quinn. This week, they traded Roquan. But they also get the receiver, was it Claypool from Pittsburgh, to really help Justin Fields. We got him for a year and a half, so he's going to be around next season. You know, they'll definitely help Justin Fields, and if he's good, then the Bears could probably extend him if he's that good, along with a bunch of other players that they'll end up getting from the Bears. So you may not think it, because I know you don't like it, but the Bears did trade away, two other defensive players, especially Quinn, who had like 18 and a half sacks and broke the record last year, sack record for the Bears last year. That's impressive, but this year he wasn't doing anything. And the Bears figured they could get something for him and got something for him. Roquan Smith the same. They got something for him. He wasn't going to sign here. Why are you going to keep someone who's not going to play here next year? You're going to get nothing. So trade him for a draft pick. If the Ravens are, I should say is dumb enough to give up their second round pick, because unlike the NBA, NFL draft picks are very, very, very valuable. All of them are valuable. Okay? All of them, no matter what round they are, they're all valuable.
You know, the Bears took, they're going to pay Roquan half that money. You know
That's
that, right?
fine. They'll pay them out, but they won't be on their cap for next year. He's gone.
They're gonna pay him half that money?
Yeah, that was part of the deal.
Well, they'll pay the salary for the season, but it will not be on their cap next year. So that's why, because of that.
Oh man, that's a hell of a deal then.
Yeah.
For him. Shit.
Well, it's a hell of a deal for the Ravens because the Ravens have him as a rental.
Wow.
If the Ravens want to keep him, then they'll have to sign him and pay all that money. Quinn, he was traded to who? Philly. Now he already told Philly he's not re-signing with them, so he already knows he's leaving. Yeah. They got him on a rental too.
Yeah.
So this benefits the Bears. They got something for nothing. And they got draft picks to stockpile these draft picks. Now we're really going to find out how Ryan Poles, the GM, how he does with these draft picks, because now we have a bunch of them and a bunch of money. Let's see what he can do and put this team together and build a contender for the next 10 years. Okay. So we'll see what he can do. And that's what I think about that. You can go on and take over.
Yeah, I got one last thing. Well, two. One, Kyler Murray, to me, is falling off as a quarterback. I'm sorry. Kyler Murray has fallen off. I mean,
that's your guy.
Week after week after week, the losses are piling up. Looks like all that money they paid.
I mean, they having like QB and coach problems right now, so they're not.
Yeah, you saw that, right? You saw when he went off on his coach. Now, if you're the coach, do you accept that, or do you check him?
You have no choice.
Why? He's the coach. You're the coach. He's the player.
That's not the boss.
You go out and you go execute.
Who's the boss?
Well, I'm the coach. I'm the boss because you do what I say. I'm the one calling the plays.
Guess who's the boss? The person that owns the franchise, the boss. He's gonna make the final say. If Kyler Murray is his quarterback.
Kyler Murray had a pretty good game. He threw 2 picks, but he had 3 touchdowns.
Your coach is not your boss. That owner of the franchise is the boss. He's gonna have, if he's like highly into his team, he's gonna have the last say. You don't go through anything without him.
Not every team is Jerry Jones.
Yeah, well, I mean, every team is Jerry Jones. I mean, they're gonna have some type of say or executive say about it. You're just not gonna get rid of their player without letting them know that it's a quarterback, not a safety. Or
Kyle Murray actually didn't do bad in this game. He threw 2 picks, but that defense gave up 34 points to Minnesota. Yeah. So it ain't his fault completely. You're talking about that defense. That defense let Kirk Cousins throw for 2 touchdowns, 232, and they sat there and ran all over their ass. All 3 of they had 173 rushing yards. Minnesota did. A rushing touchdown from Cook. A rushing touchdown by Madsen. A rushing touchdown by Cousins. And Cousins threw for 2 touchdowns on top of that.
D-Hop playing?
So Hopkins?
Yeah, I think he's still suspended.
No, he played. He came back. He had 159 receiving yards.
And he just came back, huh?
And a touchdown.
Whew.
So that's not Kyle Murray's fault, though, Mike. That defense gave up 34 points. Kyle Murray put up 26. That's not bad.
Yeah.
But you give up 34 because your defense can't stop shit? I mean...
Well, they're 3-5.
They are.
Sitting there with us.
Maybe, though, Kyle Murray probably does need to put back in his contract. You need to watch film after the games.
Last thing before we start transitioning to some basketball. The Las Vegas Raiders are done.
Oh,
they are done.
How does that happen?
They are done. And the much treasured Devontae Adams.
He had a bad game.
Ooh, how many yards did he?
He had -1 yard.
Ooh, I bet. I don't know. I think maybe.
No, he didn't have negative. No,
He
that
had
was
3
rushing.
yards.
That was rushing.
He had 3 yards.
Go to receiving. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 3 yards.
He had 3 yards, but how many times was he targeted? He was targeted 5 times.
Wow.
One reception for 3
They doubled
yards.
him, and they made sure that.
And how long he signed to Las Vegas? He got a full contract,
Yeah,
don't
he
he?
does.
Yeah, but it's not guaranteed. I don't think it's all guaranteed.
Not as a guarantee. You
Well,
just ain't
hey,
getting the ball like
if
he
he's
was.
if he's not satisfied, we'll take him.
Oh, and this Hall of Famer quarterback that he said he was going to go to, the great Derek Carr.
Mike, you're talking to one bad. You're talking about this is a bad game, though.
And an interception. With a 50.3 rating. I don't know. I think that was a pretty bad decision, Adams. I mean, if I was in your shoes, I'd probably be shoving.
Well, you know,
the way after I lose too. You know,
The most embarrassing thing in the
You know.
NFL. The most embarrassing thing in the NFL is to get shut out. That is the most embarrassing
24
thing.
to zip.
Just to get shut out, period. You can't score even a goddamn field goal.
That's how bad.
Nothing.
It was.
Zero.
That's how bad it was.
That's
So to me,
horrible. That's
LA
horrible.
Raiders are. I'm sorry. The Las Vegas Raiders are.
That's why you don't see too many shutouts in the NFL. You might see a couple a
There
year,
you go.
but it's not too many.
They should start shipping their players around like we did because
They're
because
2
we're
and
3
5.
Oh,
yeah,
you know,
man.
rebuild. It's rebuild time. ship everyone out.
It's retool, not rebuild
rebuild
for them.
All right.
All right. So with that being said, I guess that will conclude
NBA for our life, real quick.
we'll conclude our NFL discussion and move on to the NBA. So let's start talking about the Bulls. So the Bulls, they won tonight, by the way, folks. They won 108-99. JR had a very good game today.
You still calling this man
He put up 29 points.
Didn't you say you stopped calling him JR
When
after
he
he made the playoffs?
No, when he wins a series in the
No.
playoffs. I made this
Mike,
clear.
what did he say,
no,
Mike?
No,
What did you say, Mike?
The original bet was if we make the playoffs,
You
would
stop
call
calling
him.
No.
And then
I
he
said when
tweets
they
it.
win,
Then he
when
tweets
they
it.
win a series in the playoffs, then he will no longer.
We just beat Jimmy Butler without him. So how you still calling him
in the
Jimmy Butler?
playoffs.
No, just in general.
No, they have to
Come on,
win a
man.
series in the
First game of the
playoffs.
year we beat them.
Man, Jimmy Butler hasn't.
Well, no,
played
that
on
was
this team.
DeRozan that outplayed. Jr. didn't even play in that game,
Oh,
by the way. He
my
missed the
God.
first 2.
Get up,
Let's
Jimmy.
not talk
Get
about
off Jimmy
But
Butler.
anyway,
ball
I'm not.
sack.
I'm not.
sorry.
I'm not talking.
Please.
I'm not on Jimmy Butler. I'm just saying he got outplayed.
You calling another grown man by
Jimmy-
another man's nickname.
Jimmy Butler got outplayed by DeRozan
Wow.
in Miami.
Okay, so we have another better player on
Anyway.
the team other than Levine. So can you call him by his name? Or
I'll
something?
call him that when he earns it. He hasn't
Wow.
earned
He
it.
got us to the playoffs.
Getting knee management every other game is not
Wow.
earning it to me. Anyway, he did earn it today though because he scored 29 points, 20 of them in the fourth quarter, 9 in the rest of
Wow.
the game.
He put up.
Yes, so they won, and so now they're back at 500. They're 4-4.
You know,
They're
a
a
lot
little
of good
bit.
teams are like in the 500.
Yeah, well, it's early.
Yeah.
They're I mean, there's a couple of teams that are better, but it's still early. It's only we're only a week and a half.
I
into the
think
season.
Cleveland is going to be nasty.
They
man.
are. They're already nasty now.
What's their record? They're 5-1,
They're nasty.
Damn, Milwaukee hasn't lost yet?
Nope.
6-0.
Giannis.
Don't lose.
Giannis is a beast. The Raptors are surprising for me this year. Some of the wins that I've seen them pull out, pretty good.
Do you think this is too early? Let's give like a 20-game sample before we start.
Yeah, but
Somebody
you know,
else, you know.
when you look at the Detroit Pistons, are we gonna say it's salvageable? No. The Brooklyn Nets are done, in my opinion.
Okay,
They just
so
got 2 guys.
there's 70-something games
and Ben
left.
Simmons airballing layups.
You
I
know
know
what I
you
couldn't-
saw that game
you know
when
what I
he
couldn't
airballed
find
like
out?
3 layups.
Why didn't he play
How do you
tonight?
airball 3 layups right in front of the rim and it just goes to the other side without even hitting the rim? How does that happen? And you're a pro? And you're like damn near 7 feet tall. How does that happen? I don't know.
You ever seen anger
So-
management?
Yep.
You remember when the dude with the Allen Iverson was like, just dunk the fucking ball!
Yeah.
Dunk it! You gotta dunk that shit!
That's
That's
what-
what you gotta do. You
That's what
gotta
he-
dunk that
yeah,
shit.
That's what he needs to do, man. Because you can't shoot worth a damn. Damn.
So what are your opinions on the Bulls as far as what you see
So far, so good. They're a 500 team. They look good. DeRozan looks good as usual. I like Io. Io's been performing pretty well. Lonzo Ball has been sitting out, and it looks like this might be an opportunity for Io to shine. And it might be an opportunity for Alonso to, get out of town. Because to me, he's just going to be sitting down hurt and hurt and hurt. He's probably not going to play this year. He's going to come back, and within 2 weeks, he's going to have discomfort, and he's going to sit out the rest of the year again. This seems to be a thing that's going around the league with a lot of players doing this. I won't say any names like Kawhi Leonard. It's going to be sitting out the next 6 games because of knee discomfort. You've been sitting down for a year. You come back looking like a tank, swole as ever, but you can't run because you got all that damn weight and all that muscle on you. Come on. How many games you sat out already this season? You only played like 2 games? It's ridiculous. Now back to the Bulls again. I got off rails with Kawhi Leonard. They're looking good. Caruso's putting up the same defense, that he normally does.
I want to show you this.
Mm-hmm.
Milwaukee is 6-0.
Mm-hmm.
They played 5 of their 6 games at home. They haven't begun playing on the road. So that record's going to change quickly.
Is that what you feel?
Yeah. And then they got lucky. I don't know how the schedule makers give them all these freaking home games in a row like that to start the season. But anyway.
But look at this. Levine had 20 points in the fourth quarter today.
Yeah.
That beat the Nets. And but you still not.
The problem.
You still not giving him his credit.
I'm giving the man his credit. He had a good game. But here's the problem I have. The only thing that concerns me about the Bulls early on, and they got to improve this. Their defense is bad. They're giving up 111 points a game, and they're scoring 112 a game. They give up too many threes, and I saw it again tonight. They give up way too many threes. They leave the three-point shooters open, and they nail them. That one player on the Nets, he's like Asian player. He was killing the Bulls. He was shooting every time he gave him the ball to shoot the 3, he made it. They're damn near. And the Bulls pulled away, but they were losing some of that game. And they had came back in that fourth quarter because I think the Bulls went on like a 20-something to 7 run or something to pull it out. They were down actually by more than double digits. So they came back and won that game. But their defense has got to pick it up. And also they struggle in the first quarter defensively. Well, they're struggling defensively the whole game for the most part. But they give up a lot of points in the first quarter. To every team that they've been playing, they give up a lot of points in the first quarter. So they got to keep working their way back to try to, and wear themselves out. I think this will get better. They'll improve as the season goes on. But they really got to get that defense in order because they're really giving way too many points. They're giving more points now than they did last year, Now you can blame that on Ball not being there. Then you have Weston didn't play today either. Drummond didn't play.
What is he out
and
for?
Also Kobe didn't play. Well, he hurt I think he hurt his shoulder a couple of games back.
Mm-hmm.
Kobe has some kind of quad injury or something. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how long he's out for. But they have to get better. And they got to get healthy. Any comments?
Yeah, of course. Man, I like the Bulls. The Bulls are gonna do well this year. I don't know about top 3, but I can probably see top 5 and probably make a little run in the playoffs. So I think they'll get out probably second round, second. East is pretty good this year. It's gonna be pretty tough, but we got to see how it all gel together. You can tell their chemistry is getting a lot better. So I like it, man. I enjoy watching the Bulls game. They actually score. You're seeing a lot more people score. Like Green, man, Devontae Green is killing right now off the bench. It's the bench. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
Them extra bench players help and rejuvenate.
And who's actually who's having a pretty good game the last couple of games I've seen is Williams is finally starting to make his shot though. The last couple of games, watch the game when you have time. If you watch the game, he seems it doesn't look like he's doing a lot.
Rockets was a good pickup and Drummond was a good pickup.
Very good.
So,
I like both.
Just those 2 off the top is just
Williams has had the last couple of games has been good. He's been shooting better. He's taking the shot. He's being aggressive.
We got a good overall team as long as everybody's healthy. Now, if everybody's hurt, it's going to be a difficult season. If we can have all the players at least 90% of the game, 90% of the season. Man. Yeah, as long as they're healthy, 90% of the season. The Bulls are gonna make it something.
If they're healthy if they're healthy and they play long enough, at least 20 games, 25 games healthy together, especially down the end of the season, second half of the season,
Yeah.
the last 25 games, then they could possibly make a
you
run
have a full,
like Boston did last year in the playoffs.
You have a
They
full
were hot.
all-around season. I mean,
Yeah.
you got a full all-around team. You got a team that does play one-on-one
Yeah.
defense. Caruso plays defense. Io plays pretty
They got
good
some
defense.
defenders. This guy can
I
bet on
mean,
it.
Levine is a kind of not a great defensive player, but when he wants to, he'll step in front of a charge.
Most
You
definitely.
know.
I just don't think Ball's coming back this season. I think he's out for the year.
I think he'll come back for like 2 weeks and he'll be out.
I don't think he's gonna be back for
after
one
the
week.
All-Star game. Let's see what happens. Let's see how
He made no
recovery is.
progress.
He's
in
only under a 3-year contract. I think this is his
second
third
year. It's the second year.
It's only his second year.
Yeah.
Well, he only has one.
And
year.
they said he hasn't played. You know, he hasn't played since January.
Yeah, I remember. We remember he was off.
And-
Remember after the All-Star break,
Yeah.
he was just out of there.
Yeah.
You remember we thought he
And
was
so,
gonna come back in
and then you had the off season.
yeah.
Okay, and then we're talking
But
about.
that's why you get. That's why you got
Yeah.
Dragic.
But what I'm saying is, but
That was
you had
good
the
pickup.
off season, and then we hear that he's not progressing. He's digressing. And so,
knees are difficult, man.
You know, from January to now,
when he feels
and whatever
comfortable, he'll be
surgeries
out
needed
there.
to get done, you should have. My thing with him is, what surgeries needed to get done, they should have got done right away. You knew you
You
needed
think the
it.
Bears
you
make?
done it.
I mean, you think the Bulls make a trade this season?
I hope not.
Depends on where it is during the
If they
trade
do,
deadline.
if they do,
need to.
If they do and they get rid of Ball,
Hey, Vooch, I wouldn't trade Vooch.
I'm
now.
keeping him. That is
Yeah.
my
If they're gonna
walking
trade him, they're gonna get some
double,
good pieces for him.
double. That is a walking
Yeah,
double
he is.
double.
Don't just trade him to the Lakers for their horrible garbage ass players.
But see, you notice when like towards the end of the game, they don't pass on the ball as much. It's either
well, he did.
DeRozan takes over or Levine.
He got some
Sometimes
shots at the end of the
ball.
game today. He
Good.
took it right to Durant because they had Durant on him. Oh man, Vooch could handle Durant defensively. Durant couldn't do anything. Vooch was like,
I think our
You know?
division is gonna give us some trouble. I think Cleveland and Milwaukee.
Well,
is
I don't think they're gonna win the division, but like you said, they need to get it as a
Yeah, I mean,
and
like
then
a
avoid.
5-6. I want them to.
I'm not convinced. Okay, don't get me wrong. I think
I
Cleveland's
just don't want to
gonna
play in the playing game. That's all.
Yeah, play that.
As long as we don't play in
that
the
should be
playing
out.
game, I think we're fine. Healthy team, Bulls. I think we can make it.
Now,
I mean, they set their own destination.
The two teams in turmoil are the Brooklyn Nets and Mike's team.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, this is.
And they won their
85.
first game the other day. I wanted to hear
Yeah.
Mike's comments about
Yeah.
Lakers celebrate like they won the championship
Yeah.
when they won that game.
I thought
Oh,
that
they won the
was-
game. Oh, wow.
And they celebrated like they won the
Yeah,
I didn't
championship.
even know.
I thought that was the saddest thing that I had seen in a long, long time. These guys were throwing buckets of water and ice and champagne around in the
Oh,
locker
they was like Lil
room.
Wayne and Birdman.
Yes.
We're popping
Over
champagne.
one
Like,
win.
like you won a
One
championship
win.
ring.
You guys lost like 5 games already in that one game, and you guys were celebrating. Oh, it was for Darvin Ham. Come on now, have some self-respect. You guys won one regular season game. You're popping champagne bottles and throwing ice around and have goggles on. That was ridiculous. I thought that shit was.
Hey, that's the only celebrating they gonna get all season.
I mean,
Well, they're 1-5. I mean, they had to get that first win on the
Well, I
belt.
mean, if Russell Wilson can turn back into a triple double again, and AD be healthy, then it's a
Westbrook?
different story.
yeah,
But he has to go back to a triple double.
he's still not shooting right. He's still not the same Russell Westbrook that we used to see before.
That's the new shell, huh?
I mean, yeah.
That's the
I
new
mean,
shell.
he is a shell of himself. I mean, from a guy that was a triple-double machine 2 years in a row to now, you're missing 16 shots, and hitting maybe 2. That's ridiculous. And he should come off the bench. I mean, that's just my opinion.
They
I
pay him
love
too much
watching.
money to
I
have him
love
come off
watching
the
him
bench.
coming up. He was a beast. He attacked. But right now, if you're not playing on that level, your ego can't keep you on the court. You're just not performing. Sit down, practice, shoot your shot.
He's coming off the bench now,
If
ain't
you
he?
get better, come off the bench and play.
But you're paying all that money for a player to come off the bench.
And he just bought a house right across the street from
LeBron. Yeah, because nobody wants him. That's why he's still there. Nobody wants him because everybody wants.
Well, he's from, isn't he from there?
The Lakers
Is he
want
from
like,
LA?
I don't know where
the
he's
Lakers
from. I
want
think
like
he's from
4
there.
or 5 players every time they want to trade for him. Who's going to give up 5 players for Russell Westbrook the way he's playing now? That's just not something that's going to be real. And, I don't see them even making the playoffs this year. With what they got right now,
Of course not.
if they don't make some moves, what a waste! What a waste for LeBron James. What a waste of his career. He should be somewhere where
He should have
surrounded
stayed. He
by
should have
some
stayed in
talent.
Cleveland. Is where he should
He
have
should
stayed.
be somewhere where he should have some talent around him to finish off his career the right way. The way he's ending it right now with all these losses, I think it tarnishes his career. Yeah, he'll break Kareem's record and everything for scoring, but you're gonna go down with 50 losses this year, man.
You know what's messed up? Remember Kobe's last game when he put up 60 points?
That's what LeBron's gonna have to do.
That's what's gonna happen with LeBron.
Yep.
Kobe, his last career game, he scored 60 points, I think, in that game. His final game of his career. And I was this swan song, and the Lakers sucked that year. They weren't even nowhere near no playoff contention. And that was sad because you want to see Kobe at least get into the playoffs. If he's gonna lose and go out, you want to see him go out in the playoffs.
You can't start feeling sorry for these NBA players.
Oh, I'm just saying. Well, you felt kind of bad for
LeBron
that.
made his own bed, man.
Yes.
Now he has to lay in it.
He should have. You're right. I know. Hey, I agree. He should have kept his ass in Cleveland. That second stint and should have stayed there.
He should
They
have
were at least
stopped trying to
contending.
play GM. He needs to stop trying to play GM.
He wants to play with his friends.
Yeah.
He wants to play with his friends.
I'm just saying, you know what I mean? All respect to LeBron, but bro, you gotta let the GMs be the GMs, and you just can't tell them what moves to make.
That's why he'll never be the GOAT.
Well, he did tell other GMs what moves to make before, and he led to championships. So I mean, sometimes you
It
gotta
only
listen.
can last for so long.
Yeah.
He didn't tell Pat Riley to do shit. Pat Riley put that team together in Miami.
Oh boy.
And when
You
LeBron
really-
wasn't
you
getting
really
his
believe
way,
that?
when LeBron wasn't getting his way after that fourth year, and Pat Riley wasn't gonna let him get his way, he sounded like, I'm going back home. Like, well, go home. And he went home. So
And what's happened since then?
what's happened since then is LeBron went home and didn't stay home very long and left and went to LA, where he is
I know what
sticking up
happened
the
then.
joint now.
I know what happened then. He went home, won a championship, and then he left home and went to LA and won another championship.
Bubble championship.
Now what did Miami do since LeBron left?
They went to the finals.
And then what? And carried
They almost went to the finals.
Carried Jimmy Butler off the court because he was exhausted because he couldn't finish the game. Because that's what I remember in that finals. So yeah, I would have kept LeBron on the team if he's gonna bring me a championship. Instead
And
of
what's he
watching
done since?
my top player.
And
get
what
dragged
about
off
these
the
last?
court?
What about these last 2 years?
What about these last 2 years? He has a championship.
What has he done these last 2 years?
Led the league in scoring.
So this is going to be another failed season. So the 3 out of the 4 years that he's been in LA,
He won a championship.
he won a bubble championship that took 2 years to play one season, and you took 3 years no playoffs. So that's a failure to me.
Okay.
Sorry. So if he wants to stay there and rot his career, go and rot it away. You should have kept. I bet he wishes he wasn't in Cleveland now because they're contending now. I bet he wishes they have a better team
He
around
might
him
go
now.
back home. You never know. He might go back
No,
home.
Cleveland's not saying no. We have a good team here.
They're
We
not
don't
gonna
need
say
you,
that to the
LeBron.
whole-
They're not about to give up their future for LeBron again and suck when he leaves.
Who
No.
says he's gonna demand top money like that? He's gonna go over there to give his city another win. Cleveland.
Yeah. Cleveland, can you please take me back? Because my career's over and I couldn't do anything in LA and please take me back
He's
now.
averaging 30 points a game. How's his career over?
It's over.
You're
almost.
crazy, man.
He's only sticking around. He's only sticking around so his son could play, and so he can play with his son. And he's gonna go to the team that drafts his son to end his career.
Cleveland.
If Cleveland drafts his son, yes.
Nah, I doubt it.
But Cleveland ain't got to be
They're
drafting
gonna
his
lure
son.
LeBron back, man. That's the hometown kid.
They have to draft him.
They do got a squad right now.
So let's say it's the Charlotte.
Donovan Mitchell.
The Charlotte, let's say the Charlotte Hornets or the Orlando Magic get that pick, and they pick his son.
Cleveland's gonna get.
Cleveland ain't gonna get it, and Cleveland's not gonna trade
I'm
for
gonna
him.
call that out 3 years from now. Cleveland's gonna pick up Bronny James.
How?
Watch.
How?
This is gonna pick him
If
up.
Cleveland
And
is
3
conti-
years from now, that's how long it's gonna take.
Is he gonna be?
He's 18
He's
already.
18 in the league. He's like 17
I
or
doubt he's
18.
gonna come
And they
right
changed
next
that
year.
rule. They changed that rule, I think, to benefit his son too,
Yeah.
because now all of a
That's
sudden
that
they changed-
18-year-old
they
right
changed
now.
that- they changed that
in
rule
the G
again.
League or whatever they
Yeah.
the league. That's
Yeah.
killing,
So-
right?
Yeah.
LeBron said that he wants to play with his son. He's only sticking around to play with his son for 1 year, and he's gonna retire.
We'll see.
That's what I believe, that he'll retire when his son gets in, and it won't be Cleveland that picks him, because if Cleveland is contending, they're not gonna have no lottery pick.
All right. Let's finish this off with with the Brooklyn Nets, speaking of teams that are just unraveling and falling
Oh,
apart,
you didn't mention the Golden State Warriors defending that Super Bowl. Defending.
they're all right. They're
champions.
still at 500. They're okay. I'm not gonna get on them yet. I'm gonna get on the Brooklyn Nets. Today they lost Steve Nash,
Yeah. Why did he
which
quit?
I knew was gonna happen. For one, Kevin Durant didn't want him. Kyrie Irving didn't want him. So I think that
I
they
really
were.
don't care what Kyrie Irving wants.
So I think they were underperforming to get him out of there. Now
He's
he's
walking
on.
on.
Now
He's
he's
walking on thin
now
ice
he's
right
out of
now
there.
himself, isn't he?
Why? Because
Kyrie Irving is walking
yeah, I
on
think he
thin
made some
ice.
anti-Semitic
Yeah, he's walking on thin
comments.
ice now.
Yeah, but regardless of which, Nash is gone, and their team still, like today, as we just said, the Bulls just beat the Brooklyn Nets, and we beat them pretty handily. I mean, we had Levine score 20 points in the fourth quarter. They collapsed. So that's that. And that's just going to be the rest of the season for me, because right now they don't have any
They're not going to
weapons.
do anything this season. You don't think
They have two big offensive weapons.
Play-in?
They have two big offensive weapons. Kyrie and Durant will have to put up 30 plus every night for the rest of the season for this to happen. And you saw tonight when they shut Kyrie down, they lost.
What about Ben Simmons? who's
Air
in
ball
close
Simmons.
today?
All he's doing is shooting air balls.
And sitting wearing some ugly sweaters, sitting on the bench.
Yeah, well today he was sitting down, but last time I saw him, he was shooting air ball layups, and that was ridiculous.
Cameron said, "Stop playing with him."
Yeah, I saw that. I saw
Yeah.
camera. I was like, man, if you don't want to play, man, then don't come out and play, because it's ridiculous that you
You
shoot
said
air
this
ball
about,
layups.
Ben
Yes,
Simmons?
he had a whole like Instagram or Twitter, whatever it was, that he came out. He put it out early in the morning, like, man, stop playing. I was out like courtside, and I watched you shoot air ball layups.
I think the
Stop
best
playing
thing.
game.
I think the best thing for him is for the Nets to trade him to the Sacramento Kings or the Orlando Magic. That way, the spotlight won't be on him as much, and they won't really focus on him. And if he ends up resurrecting his career and makes something out of it and becomes a good shooter and gets his team contending, then it'll be for the good thing. Good, he can rebrand his image.
Yeah.
Because right now he's toxic and he's horrible, and he's on a team that's horrible and a team that is just completely in the shits right now. And I think for Ben Simmons, which I can care less, I don't really care for him. It'd be best if Brooklyn would trade him to one of those lower bottom feeding garbage teams, so there won't be so much focus on him, because right now he's not contributing to the Brooklyn Nets at all, except taking their money and wearing ugly sweaters on the bench.
Yeah.
What do you guys say?
I don't
What do you think
know,
about your
man.
boy Ben Simmons there?
I haven't watched Brooklyn this year, so I really.
What do you think about your boy Ben Simmons?
Well, obviously he's trash right now, and I think he wants to go back home to Australia with the
No.
Kangaroo Jacks.
Do you
But
think- do you
I
think
don't
he's
want
always-
to go. But no, I mean, no. I'm just
Maybe he
playing,
needs to go
man.
play for the Australian team.
But no, I mean, I don't
He
know. I
will.
think he just doesn't want to play basketball, and I think he's just there just to get paid. So. I mean,
And if that's the case, then he needs to get the hell out the NBA, give that spot to somebody else, and take his money and go to Australia and play for the Australian team.
And finally, the Nets are looking to get Ime Udoka, which is
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah.
which is the Boston Celtics coach.
yeah.
Oh.
They want to go on ahead and
The
sign him up.
ex-Boston Celtics coach. Did they fire him?
Yeah, well, they didn't fire him; they suspended him.
He's not fired yet.
No.
They suspended him so they don't have to pay him.
Right.
They're punishing him for banging the owner's wife. Basically, that's what he did. So they suspended him. He ain't getting paid no money, and he's supposed to be suspended until next year. So if the Brooklyn Nets do sign him, they're basically bailing him out and putting him on that squad. Now I'll be interested to see how they react to having him as their coach. Will they play better? Will they be better?
We'll see. He did it. I mean, he made Boston better.
Boston had more than just two weapons. They
I
had
don't
a
think
cohesive
so.
team.
I don't think so. I think the
And,
Nets are
guys that
screwed
do
with
specific jobs. I didn't
Yeah.
see Grant Williams was doing
Time
his
will tell.
job.
You're right.
But-
It's early. They may be able to turn it around. You never know.
Yeah.
So you got KD on the team. I mean, anything
You have a
can
chance, right?
Anything is possible.
Well, with that being
KD.
said,
Anything's possible.
he's probably gonna want to get the hell out of there soon himself. Watch. Oh, I want to get traded. He already wanted to get traded, did he?
Yeah.
Did he demand to get traded?
Well, I mean,
They
he
couldn't
got-
trade
he
him?
got rid of
Since
Steve
he
Nash.
signed Kyrie, he said he
Yeah.
wanted to be traded.
Well, now Nash is gone, so now maybe he doesn't want to be traded, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, I think that that wraps up the show for this week. We'll be back next week with more sports opinions on the NFL and the NBA, Bulls, Bears, and everything in between. That's worth mentioning.
Yeah.
So with that, go and plug the
All right.
stuff.
So once again, I want to thank Anthony for
Yes,
coming
thanks,
on
Anthony.
today. You know,
Sharing
joining
your
us,
opinion.
sharing his opinions. We always like having another outlook because you know my outlook, you know Frank's outlook. But it's nice to have a little blend here and there. You hear what what someone else has to say. So thank you again for coming on. Hope to see you a little bit more, as the year goes on. Now, I do want to thank everybody again listening to us. I see we've got some more listens, coming from our podcast, that's on Spotify, Google, Apple, Stitcher. I mean, we're